I know you have all been dying to learn how to turn teeth into coasters, so follow along, this tutorial is for you. First off, these dental molds are from Trufit Customs and they are made out of a photopolymerized resin. Now I have no idea what that actually is, but it sounds cool. So the first step is to sand off any rough edges or tabs that were on the mold. Next, I took some acrylic paint and painted the gums. I added a little bit of a darker color around the teeth just to give it a little bit of realism and then blended it. Next, I took a craft knife and just kind of cut off any of the excess paint that was on the teeth. And now that the teeth are all nice and clean, and yes, I did feel like a dentist the whole entire time while making these, I painted those pearly whites pearly white. Let's add some epoxy. For this project, I'm using Moss Epoxy's Tabletop Pro. You can see that I'm actually spooning on the epoxy into kind of the deeper crevices of the teeth. Now, my thought process was if I did that, it would maybe cut down on the bubbles being trapped in those crevices. And you'll see it actually worked. It's hard to tell in the video, but I did about 3 or 4 layers of clear epoxy, and I did very thin layers. I added a little bit of glitter, you might notice as well. For the last layer, I used some black diamond pigment powder to just give it a kind of spooky feel. Next is the unmolding. Now you could see that I had some leftover silicone mold stuck to my coaster. Now that's because I used a very old damaged mold and that was from many uses of using too much heat. So I just made sure to sand it all off nice and smooth. Next, I'm using liquid latex to coat the back edge of the coaster. Now, this is going to help with the removal of any resin drips at the very end. So you can see here, I'm doing my last layer of resin, popping those bubbles with a torch, and now it's time to remove that liquid latex and the resin drips. Once your coaster is free of all resin drips, it's time to glue on your cork backing. This backing does have adhesive already, but I like to use Starbond medium adhesive and accelerator to make sure it stays on forever. I then add my little logo with a wood burning tool, and you're done. Now, this project was super fun. It was kind of creepy, kind of spooky, a little weird, but let me tell you, this will definitely make a statement and be a conversation starter. Thank you so much for following along. Stay creative and happy crafting.